tonight for medical reasons. With that said, do we have any public comments? I see nobody in the audience.
No, we do not.
All right. Madam City Attorney, would you announce closed session?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of council, we have two items on for closed session. First one's conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, paragraph 1 of subdivision D of section 54956.9. The matter is Diaferio versus City of Riverside Hot Springs. Case number CVPS 2500583. Second matter is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation under the same code section. The case name is Rizzio versus City of Desert Hot Springs in United States District Central Court, case number 525 CV0167 RGKAJR.
And we'll recess to closed session. All right, good evening to all the people in the audience tonight. We are going to come back from closed session, and we're going to come back into our session here, and this is presentations. And we do have one presentation tonight, and that's by the Palm Springs Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. Marcus Funchess, and he is 100 days in, according to the big news article I saw, and I think he's going to talk about that today. But he's also been a breath of fresh air for us as partners, and I'm excited to hear what you have to talk about.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Mattis. Thank you, council members. Thank you, staff. I appreciate being here. I've been looking forward to today's discussion with you all, with the public. And I feel real good about being here in Palm Springs Unified School District. And I want to share with you some of the things that I have been able to observe and learn here in the district since I arrived July 1. And a little bit of information about where we're headed based on the things that I found. So once again, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the invitation here to speak tonight. That is me, Dr. Marcus Funchess, and those are our graduates over here at Desert Hot Springs High School, which I'm very much interested in being an excellent presence on this side of the freeway, and I'll keep coming back to that. So a little bit about me. I'm a husband and dad first, before I am a leader in the school district. So my wife Celeste, I got some young adult children, Henry up there, Kennedy in the middle, and my daughter Kimberly, who's 20 years old at San Diego State University, taking all of my money to advance her dreams, which is good. She's living out my dream. I wanted to go to San Diego State, but I didn't make it there. So I've been an elementary teacher, vice principal, director of human resources, and assistant superintendent, all in San Bernardino City Unified for 27 years. And then when Palm Springs became available, I thought it was very beneficial for me to come and help the district move its mission and vision forward to support all scholars to reach their goals. And so what I set out to do, what we set out to do in my first 100 days was do a lot of listening, learning, sharing a little bit about myself and my background, and listening to the backgrounds of others, their hopes and dreams of others, and begin to build something and begin to plan for the future. And there were a few things that stood out that the district, our community, our staff, our parents wanted. That's trust and governance, academic excellence at all of our school sites, fiscal sustainability, promoting a safe, supportive, inclusive district culture, and then finally engaging the community through meaningful communication. So in my time here, I was able to meet with maybe over 200. I set out to meet over 100, but probably got a chance to speak with over 200 individuals and groups from the greater Coachella Valley, and more specifically those who serve and support Palm Springs Unified. And here are some of the strengths that our parents pointed out, like student-centered focus, community relationships, diversity, equity, and inclusion. But here are some of the areas of focus as well: school safety and discipline, equity and resources, especially on this side of the freeway, and academic rigor. And our future direction, from what our parents talked to me about: prioritizing safety, expanding opportunities, especially on this side of the freeway, and high quality instruction and facilities, right? And here's what our employees said as well: some of the same trends around communication and inclusivity, support services and equity. Those are the important strengths of our district. What are our areas of focus? Consistency and equity, workload, morale, and recognition. We can all agree with that as employees and managers and leaders. Operational and facilities issues that we need to take care of that continue to rise to the surface. And future direction: safe and supportive schools, teacher and staff empowerment, and a unified district identity, which I want to touch on here shortly. And then our scholars. I met with our 12th grade young men and women, seniors in high school. They are very interested, brilliant, bunch of young people who have great ideas. They pointed out some of the same strengths, Their areas of focus: greater instructional quality, as you see that in bullet point number 2, enhance campus facilities. And then over there in future direction, our scholars wanted to make sure that I understood the importance of boosting student involvement, expanding counseling and wellness, and then broadening career pathway options. I'll just touch on those. So what do you do with all this information as a superintendent? What do you do when you come into a Palm Springs Unified School District that has a rich history of excellent supportive programs around VAPA, community partnerships, but you know there are areas of improvement to make? Well, you take all that information and then you begin to understand the importance of crafting a multi-year vision. And what a multi-year vision will do is help bring all of our hopes, desires, and dreams together towards a common purpose between now and 2030. And so we're in the middle, or we're at the beginning stages, of crafting a multi-year vision which will help us move our district initiatives and priorities forward, which you saw. We also want to align our district goals and priorities so that we're not all over the place and we begin to see what we can become between now and 2030. Also, strengthening our academic excellence at all schools. All schools can become great schools. Every single one of them. That's my belief, and I'm sticking to it. And improve and sustain positive behavior supports all across our campuses. But here's what I'll point out at tonight's meeting with you all. When I say deepen commitment in equity and diversity and inclusion with the emphasis on Desert Hot Springs, what I mean by that is throughout the time that I've been speaking with scholars, young people, parents, there has been a perception that, hey, maybe we're not cared about as much on this side of the freeway, on the Desert Hot Springs side. So I'm here to say you have a superintendent that will do something about that. Number 1, by being present. Number 2, by listening. And then number 3, by taking action on the things that we need action taken on. So that's my promise, and I'll keep saying that, and I want people to hold me to that. Foster shared leadership and voice amongst our young people and our community, and then continue to build systems of innovation for our future leaders, because we are building future leaders and difference makers. That's what I believe our young people are. And then continue modernizing all our facilities with the bond measure that the community just passed here recently, but focusing on schools over here as well, or emphasizing our schools over here. So then finally, what are our first 3 steps? Creating that multi-year vision to implement it July 1 of 2026. We're in the beginning stages of that, but making sure that we collaborate and build a shared understanding of what PSUSD excellence means for all of us. What does that mean when we say that word excellence? What does it mean in practice? What does it mean when our scholars come into our schools and sit down for learning? What does PSUSD excellence mean for us all? And then begin to strengthen our teaching and learning systems to improve academic achievement for all of our scholars, right? All schools should be great schools, and that is our aim, but it will happen over time. I am all in. I'm happy about being here, and I think over the next few years you'll begin to see some of the things that I'm talking about here happen with the voice of our young people, our parents, our community members, but more importantly, our employees, our educators that are in the classrooms on a daily basis. So that's a little bit about me. I wanted to share that with you tonight. I'm happy about partnering with you. I appreciate your leadership and what you have done thus far with Palm Springs Unified School District, and I want to continue that partnership and do some great things for our community.
Thank you, Dr. Funchess. It's been great to get to know you. I love your passion, and you listen. And it doesn't seem like it's a bunch of lip service. It sounds like you're going to really make an impact on this district. And having 5 kids go through Palm Springs Unified School District, one still there. She'll graduate in a couple of years. It's been important to me to make sure that our constituents continue to get the excellent service they were getting from the principals and teachers.
So.
And my major concern is just making sure that the facilities look as good as they're giving the instruction on and the inside. So with that said, I look forward to everything you're doing, and whatever we can do to partner, we'll be there for you. Any questions or comments?
I'm just going to say, no, I'll say what was in the paper
Right.
today. Moving forward, which is like his motto, because I went to the diversity thing this weekend and people in the back, moving forward. Okay, we got it. Funchess said the district should focus on strengthening safety, expanding mental health support, and ensuring every campus has access to high-quality instruction and
Right.
facilities, particularly in Desert Hot Springs, a point he made repeatedly. And you said to me, when I say something, I mean it.
Yeah.
I believe you. And you know,
Want me accountable?
yes, be
Right.
careful, make sure that's what you mean.
That's right.
But I believe him. Our high school feels like they're a ghetto. They are not.
Mm.
They are good people, great people, as you said, and I'm glad that you're going to start paying attention to this side of the freeway. And I applaud you for that.
We're at a start point. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome, Doctor, and
Thank you.
I have not had a chance to spend a lot of time with you, but I have we had a couple of short conversations, and I can't tell you how impressed I am with what you brought for us today here, too, and what you've done so far,
Sure.
and the reports that I'm getting back from teachers and stuff that I know that work for the district.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, I really am impressed, and I'm glad to see you continuing a focus on DEI, and particularly on mental health. We
Right.
know that kids today are stressed beyond, I think, what we had back in my days when we were riding on the back of a shovel with a piece of chalk. But, today's kids are really stressed out, and so we need to have those mental health resources. So I'm glad to see you doing that. And particularly, as both Councilmember Pai and the mayor have mentioned, our kids over here, Desert Hot Springs is unique. And
Yes.
we, of all the valley cities, we're off over here, and everybody else is all in a big row over there. And while we take great pride being on our own little orbit over here, it does cause issues sometimes, and our kids do feel neglected. I have heard that over and over and over again. And, we've all, as a council, have gone to many a legislative breakfast and a meeting with the PSUSD people, and we keep bringing that up, and we keep bringing that up. And I have to really commend Principal Tinoco, who has just
Yes.
gone above and beyond, and
Right.
he has made Desert Hot Springs High School a leader, I think, of all of the high schools in the valley, and I'm glad to see that, and I would like to see more of that. So to the extent that you can do that, and I'm glad to see you brought it up and you've got it in your plan, and as Jan says, we're going to hold you to that, and we're expecting good things, and I think so far from what we've seen, our expectations aren't misplaced.
Thank you.
Telling you.
I appreciate that.
So, welcome, and thank you for your leadership. I think you and I think we met.
Yes.
At Rancho Mirage.
We
It was a
did.
chamber mixer.
We did.
Yes, a couple of months ago.
Right.
Thank you again for coming before us and again, your leadership. And so one thing that you touched on a little bit and that I want to communicate is also part of that relationship, obviously, falls under public safety.
Mm-hmm.
And to strengthen our public safety efforts at our schools with resource officers, better safety regarding crosswalks and more.
Okay.
And that's something that we're cognizant of, and something that we definitely are trying to move that forward. We know it doesn't happen overnight, but it's something that needs to happen now. And I know that our city staff has actually engaged in that and tried to already make a turnaround on that for you and for us, for our
Yeah.
community, really.
I'm aware of a few things, and we'll
Good.
continue those efforts. I think we have some 2x2 meetings coming up soon, where we'll talk about some of the priorities of the city council, and we'll continue to move that work forward. Yep. Excited about it, too. Yes.
Thank you for taking some time out of your day to come up here this evening, and
You're very welcome.
look forward to you coming back, in the next 6 months or so to give another report on
That would be great.
where you're at.
Thank you.
Awesome.
You all have
Talk
a good
soon.
evening, okay? Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
We're going to be adjourned until 6 o'clock, not 7 o'clock. That clock is an hour ahead.
Have you seen me there before?
All right.
Can you get everybody back to the dais? Good evening, everyone. This is the City of Desert Hot Springs regular meeting of the City Council, and the City Council serving as the successor agency to the former Redevelopment Agency Board for Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. This is our 6 p.m. regular session. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Pitts. Present. Councilmember Pai.
Present.
Councilmember Voss is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Gardner.
Present.
And Mayor Mattis.
Present. As stated, Councilmember Boss will not be able to make it tonight for medical reasons, but he will be in attendance at the next meeting. The invocation tonight will be given by Pastor Isaac Kim. He is with the Desert Hot Springs Seventh-day Adventist Church. Welcome.
Let's bow our heads. Gracious Heavenly Father, you are the source of life and the creator of everything we enjoy every day. We're gathered here together to make an effort to enhance the quality of life in the city of Desert Hot Springs. Thank you so much for giving us these wonderful leaders and their leadership. Heavenly Father, please pour your Holy Spirit upon them. Shower them with the heavenly wisdom and intervene in the process and show your love, compassion, and grace, and also the heavenly wisdom we need. Thank you so much for this great opportunity to glorify you by exchanging our thoughts and making important decisions and enhancing the love, the grace we can find in the city. May the love of God the Father and the grace of Jesus Christ and the transforming power of the Holy Spirit be upon every and each one of us here today, and be glorified by what is about to happen. In the name of Jesus, we all pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Gardner, would you lead us? Madam City Attorney, would you report on closed session, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. We have no reportable action this evening.
Our next item will be the approval of the agenda. At this time, the City Council may amend the orders of the agenda, approve the consent calendar, remove any items from the consent calendar. Would anybody like to remove any items from the consent calendar? Items 8 or 9. Hearing none, is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on items 8 or 9? We'll
I
entertain a
move that
motion.
we approve the agenda
And the consent
and
calendar.
the
at home?
consent calendar.
Thank you. We got a motion to approve the agenda and the consent calendar.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Wait for it to come up on the screen. When it does, please vote.
Maybe we should play the Jeopardy theme when we're waiting.
Oh, there it is. Finally came out.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great. At this time, we'll go into public comments. At this time, pursuant to the Brown Act, any person may comment on matters of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council not listed on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the City Council shall not take action on or discuss matters raised during public comment portion of the agenda that are not listed on the agenda. All comments are to be directed to the City Council and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comments. If you want to speak in public comments on items that are not on the agenda, you may do so by filling out a blue card in the back there. And I'm going to first start with Deborah McQuarrie. How are you? Which capacity are you here
I
on?
am here on behalf of SoCal Gas.
Oh,
Thank
I was
you.
hoping you're on behalf of the city of La Quinta. And
Our meeting ended early, so I'm like, I want to come out and see Desert Hot Springs. So I just want to come out, and as you all know, my name's Deborah McGarry. I'm the Public Affairs Manager for SoCal Gas. And I wanted, and it doesn't seem like it right now, that we're getting into heating season because we're still using our air conditioning. But as we get close into, see, he's saying, he's ready for the heater. But as you start getting closer to the heating season, we want to remind our customers that you can use all different types of ways in which to track your bill. One, we have a system that allows you that you could sign up and you could have a text message sent to you if anything's changing with regards to the cost of the gas. And good news is that the natural gas price is trending 8% less than it was a year ago. You could get that information on the website for SoCal Gas, which is socalgas.com. And for those of you that don't know, there's three components to your bill. One is your part of your bill is for transportation of getting the gas to your house. The other one is the cost of the commodity, which is an automatic pass-through. We don't make money off of that. That is a pass-through. And then the other one is a public benefit fee, which is a very small fee. And we are regulated by the Public Utilities Commission. But again, I wanted just to share that there's all kinds of great ways in which you can monitor your bill, save money, set yourself up so that you're on a level paying plan. You can, if you qualify, apply for a 20% discount, which is based off of your income. We have other types of programs for weatherization. And again, there's all different types of things. Go to your socalgas.com website, again, socalgas.com, and you could get all kinds of information on how to prepare. And also, one thing that most people don't realize is that as you get ready to turn on your furnace every year, sometimes folks have a service, with their air conditioning companies that they'll come out and check your air conditioning, your furnaces and everything, and change those filters, which again, change your filters. That's a huge cost for your utilities and for your appliance to run if those filters are not clean. So you change them at least twice a year at least. But SoCal Gas will provide a free service. We'll come out and we'll check your appliances. We'll check and make sure that the heating appliances, your furnaces are all running properly as you get into heating season so that you could prevent any type of concerns, safety, but we just do a nice little check and it's all free of service. So again, thank you. And remember, socalgas.com, all the information you ever wanted to know about your gas bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. We live in Desert Hot Springs with our therapeutic breezes. We have to change our filters at least 4 times a year.
I do. I change mine quite often also, and that's really, really important. And remember, always check your carbon monoxide sensors, change out those batteries just like you do when you change out your fire detectors.
Because if you don't, they go off at 2 o'clock in the morning. They start tripping.
They will,
Yeah, it
and
just
I'm sure our
happens.
fire department truly appreciates it. Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah. I only have one more speaker, Matthew. If you're here to speak on items not on the agenda, there's a blue card over there, or just see our city clerk.
I just want to say that I've been wrestling with a few things all day today, and the conclusion is that we cannot do anything without God. And I want to apologize if I offended anybody. And I see you as God's creation, and I just want the best for everybody, and I want you to make the righteous decision. And no matter how noble we make our claims and our opinions out loud, sometimes that could be a transgression because we need to give God the authority because He is the judge. He has all power, and sometimes we go out on our own thinking we're doing the right thing. And so I want to humble myself and say I sincerely apologize for anything since I've spoken for the last year or two. And let's give God the will. Mic drop.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak in public comments? This is on items not on the agenda. I see nobody coming forth at this time. If you do have something you'd like to say, there is another public comment period at the end. Or if you're here for certain items, when we get there, we'll discuss those. City Manager's report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. There is nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
I thought we had a visitor.
I apologize.
How could you miss the visitor?
We do have something to report.
And the cutest visitor
I
at
know.
that.
Already interrupted my meeting twice.
I'm going to actually ask our acting deputy city manager to provide us with an update on animal control.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. So since our last meeting, we have had 1 animal adoption and 2 pets rescued. Additionally, we held 3 successful adoption events. Please mark your calendars for our next adoption event at Tail Waggers in Palm Springs on November 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a fantastic opportunity to meet some wonderful animals looking for their forever homes. And tonight we have a special guest with us, Applejacks, a charming 3-month-old Siberian Husky. He has a way of stealing hearts, and we were hoping to find him a loving family soon, but he's such a charmer. He already received an adoption application in the lobby tonight. So if that adoption application is approved, Mr. Applejacks has found his forever home tonight. Thank you.
And it was Erica from CVAG that said, no? Oh. Just joking. We have others. All right. No other reports from the city manager's office. Mayor and city council, I'll start with Mr. Pitts.
That was perfect timing. All right.
Sorry.
So this is my city council update for November 4th, 2025. On October 22nd, I attended my monthly Sunline Transportation meeting. Many important updates were shared at that meeting. We also took the opportunity to recognize a few long-serving Sunline employees. Speaking of Sunline, on October 26th, I participated in the Impact Transportation and Community Conference in Portland, Oregon. Alongside my Sunline board member, Cathedral City Mayor Nancy Ross, our Sunline CEO Mona Babruto, and members of her executive team, I found this event to be highly valuable for my roles as a policymaker and as a director on our local transportation board. The summit was very educational, and the breakout sessions offered vital insights. So one of the key takeaways is that historically, local jurisdictions have put a priority on housing and economic development, often viewing transportation as a secondary consideration. So moving forward, transportation should always be at the forefront of residential and community planning. Both city leadership and the Coachella Valley, moving people, especially those with disabilities, students, and underserved populations, must be a top priority. The Coachella Valley ideally is situated for a transportation revival. It's time to rethink how we commute and move people forward within our valley, and to start implementing strategies that elevate our transportation efforts. So here's a hint. Look up Disneyland in 1955. Stay tuned for more vision and innovative modes of travel. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This concludes my update.
Mr. Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know how the heck we got to November already, but here we are, and ready to go. Attended the Desert Hot Springs Community Resource Fair and National Night Out at our rec center. It was a great event put on by our PD and our Citizens on Patrol and our Public Safety Commission. It was very well attended. Lots of community resources there, and kids in costumes. And I won't subject you to the pictures, but we even got to see Chief Shaw get down on the dance floor with Councilmember Pye.
We all did on social media.
So, Chief's got moves, so does Councilmember Pye, we knew that. In my role as chair of the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission, I attended a roundtable discussion with PBS SoCal on conservation efforts in the desert and helping them develop future ideas for documentaries and coverage of important issues out here, and I'm hoping to see some fruits of that labor. And lastly, attended the Joshua Tree National Park Association annual dinner up in 29 Palms this weekend. We have a really good relationship with both the park itself and the nonprofit association that manages the visitor centers and the gift shops. And we're working with them to have DHS designated as a gateway community to the park. And things are moving well along that front, and all we need to do is get the federal government back into working, and we should be able to get that over the finish line. That's all I've got.
Ms. Pai?
Okay, a couple of things. The Southern Coast Air Quality Management District is doing a desk summit, and it's going to be November 6th at 5 p.m. at UC Riverside in their auditorium. Also, Eddie, PT Eddie Johnson, thank you. He does Hero Coffee Hour on Thursday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and it's for the veterans, and it's growing. He had one table, now it's 2 tables, and it's where the veterans talk and can share information together. Also, I was supposed to bring the name of a lady at the senior center and forgot it. However, she was talking about the boulevard, and I had talked to her, and she said, I'm going to go. And I said, good. And when you go, would you tell us what you think? And she goes like this and says, I will. So she came over at the same time when Dora came over, and I introduced her and I said, would you tell her what you think? Oh, this is just wonderful. This is just great. And I really like it. And oh, I got bumps. I'm just so thrilled. You guys are really doing something great. And I heard other things like that as well. And so I think staff, all of you, did a great job, a really great job. And one of the things that happened, and the mayor said this in the introduction, I don't do Facebook, but I heard about it, and people were thanking staff, not us, they were thanking staff. And again, I am very appreciative. You did it right. And Mr. Mayor, on 10/28, I received an award from Palm Springs Unified School District as a council member, and in appreciation of your support and dedication to the students, staff of Palm Springs Unified School District. And didn't know why, but I danced. That concludes my report.
Why you dance is because you can dance. You even had the chief dancing at an event, and we didn't think he could dance, but you obviously
He
taught him
got rhythm.
something. He does. All right, I'll be quick also tonight. The California Department of Realtors, CDAR, had their fall 2025 summit at Agua Caliente Casino and Hotel. I was asked to be a guest speaker on one of their panels, and it was nice to be able to get out there in front of some of our constituents and some of our individuals that sell a lot of property within our valley and talk about the city of Desert Hot Springs. I sat on the same panel as Ranch Mirage and Cathedral City, so it was nice. CVAG had a special executive session I attended, nothing to report on there. CVAG also had their transportation meeting, which I'm the representative for. There was a few items moved on some construction, which doesn't pertain directly to us, but the presentation that was given, I thought I wanted to put a few thoughts to this. The staff at CVAG has been taking my wishes and pushing forth on an ad hoc committee that I put together a couple years back when I was chair, and one of the pushes was to find maintenance or construction and cleanup of the Interstate 10 corridor, as it is not a very sightly place to be when you're driving through, as one of the most popular places in California. for visitors. And so we put a little bit of pressure on Caltrans District 8, and Director Lau was able to give a report after he came to us a little over a year ago, I think it was, and he came back with a very comprehensive report on what maintenance and construction will look like in the future, which I was impressed with. It doesn't solve all the issues, but at least it gives us a roadmap to hopefully what Interstate 10 will look like in the future. Quite a few projects from the state line, Arizona-California border through to Indio that are in completion or in construction right now. And then there's a lot of work being done on the western side of the county, which I spoke about a couple meetings ago, which enlightened me, finding out that our region only receives about $500 million a year in maintenance. And as that might seem like a lot of money for as many highways and interstates we have through our very active corridors, it's not, and it doesn't go a long ways. But what he did outline was 2 future projects. They did survey some of the areas that I was concerned with, which was mostly Interstate 10 at Highway 111 cut off to the Monterey interchange. The reason I was interested in that stretch is it hasn't been maintained in a long time. And if you're driving down that road in the first 2 lanes, you will see large tractor trailers, their trailers even full, jumping about when they're hitting potholes and grooves and other things. So it becomes dangerous. And he did outline 2 future projects, one being from approximately Highway 111 to somewhere between, it's called the Wall, it's an overpass between Highway 62 and Indian. It's between the Wall and Indian Canyons where it's going to end, and I'm sure I have my numbers wrong. There is a presentation, but I want to say it was around $57 million. Maybe Erica can shake her head yes or no, you're really wrong. But it was in those millions of dollars range. And that's a project that it's in concept now, and maybe hopefully will be under construction in 2030. There's a section from between Palm and Date Palm to Monterey that's also looked at, and I think that was around 27 million, somewhere in that range. And that's actually looked at it to be in construction sooner. So hopefully I don't have those mixed up. But either way, we have the presentation that was shipped to us, and in the future I'll share that with you. The reason I bring it forth is there's still a section in there that wasn't programmed for any funding and maintenance, and he explained a lot about why it wasn't and what will need to take place in the future and how Caltrans will have to look at other maintenance opportunities within that section. So I wanted to thank him. I know he's not staying up late to listen to my council meeting, but hopefully it'll get back to him and thank him for his really getting into it. We also talked about the maintenance look of landscape along the Interstate 10, and that's not very attractive at all, especially again coming back to being one of the biggest visitor serving areas in Southern California, if not California. And we talked a lot about how we realized from Desert Hot Springs that we had a portion of some of the interchanges landscaping responsibility. And so CVAG is going to take the lead on this and try to help coordinate efforts on finding out who has responsibility of what on the interchanges when it comes to landscaping. A lot of us travel to the east side of the valley, and we see, especially in the Palm Desert area, where they planted palm trees, and those palm trees are almost dead because no one maintains them. So using that as an example, we'll know eventually whose responsibility is, and if it is Caltrans' responsibility, they will dedicate someone in the future to help take care of those. So maybe a small win for now, not something I'll see in my time serving on the city council, construction on that stretch, but at least we start now. We all know with the states involved, 5 years seems like a long time, but it's really a short period of time for them to plan a project. So we'll see what goes on with that. I was also able to attend a historical society on an invite to talk about the volunteer fire company. A lot of people know I spent some time being a volunteer fireman here in the community, and they really wanted to talk about that program and the history. And they had invited a volunteer from the 70s, and she came up with her daughter who used to jump all over the fire engine, and she was in Girl Scouts. And then I talked about my family when I was a volunteer fireman and how they used to be there. And we talked a lot about the history. The volunteer fire department, or the volunteer fire program, stopped I think in around 2009-10. It's now a reserve program, but we were able to talk to about 20 or 25 people that showed up that day and talk about the history of the volunteer fire company. I wanted to thank the Historical Society for doing that. They also announced, and I want to bring them to a council meeting, that they're going to be having bricks for donation, and on those bricks, you'll be able to put your name on there, and they're going to build a pathway, and it's going to be cool. So look forward to that. Check their website. If you want to be a member of the Historical Society, I think it's a nominal fee. Looking at Gary, because he was part of, it was $100 for a whole year, right? For a brick. I don't know what the membership is, but the membership's also not very.
I think $10.
Yeah, it's not much, but if you're really interested in the history of Desert Hot Springs, it's a great place to go to see some of the history, and their events that they have will be the first, they call it the first Saturday of each month, and I think it's around 11 o'clock, and you'll have different speakers there, so kind of cool. And then just a reminder, this Thursday will be the State of the City. If you're able to come, the Chamber of Commerce, Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce will be hosting the event. I believe the vendors start around 10, and the event will start at 11:30. What's that? 11. It starts at 11. Sorry, I keep telling everybody 11:30. So when you get there at 11:30, I'll be halfway through. It starts at 11, and I only have 3 hours of slides, so you'll be out of there quick. Just joking. I try to get you out of there within an hour. Those people in La Quinta talk a lot. Just kidding, Deborah. Just kidding. You can tell my friend Mayor Evans that I said that. Yeah. And then lastly is on the 11th of November is Veterans Day at our Veterans Park here in Desert Hot Springs. And what time does that start, Doria?
9 a.m., I believe.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to say a time and be wrong this time. But again, our event for Memorial and Veterans Day are very nicely put together, about a half hour long. And so please come out if you can that morning to.
My official invitation from Doria says 10 o'clock.
Okay.
I was wrong.
Okay, so you get to sleep in a little bit, 10 o'clock, unless you didn't move your clock back like we did in here. All right, that's all I've got. We're going to move into our agenda. Did anybody forget anything? All right, we're going to move into our agenda. We're going to go to public hearings. First public hearing is item number 3, that continue from October 7th, 2025. The annexation number 50 to the City of Desert Hot Springs Community Facilities District number 2010-1 services for APN 666-370-032 located north of 20th Street and west of Little Morongo Road. Mr. Buckheim.
Yes, we're continuing the public hearing to annex what is known as the Amazon property into the Community Facilities District number 2010-1 in order to put on a special assessment to help fund maintenance of facilities. I believe the continuation was due. We hadn't received the ballots yet, but I believe we have by now. And we have Nadia with Webb Municipal for any additional questions.
All right, we'll entertain any questions to staff at this time. Is there any questions? See none, we'll open the public hearing and take public testimony. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this item? See nobody coming forth, we'll close the public hearing. Any more questions for staff? I see none.
I'll make a motion then that we move forward with the annexation number 50 to the City of Desert Hot
Your
Springs.
first motion will have to be taking 2 here, just to clarify. The first motion will be a resolution calling for the election. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yep.
Awesome. That's the motion on the table by Mr. Gardner. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Pitts. Gerald's going to take care of that on the screen there. Once it comes
Our
up,
screens are kind of weird.
please vote. Our technology is not working as fast as we'd like it to.
Oh, there we go. What's the vote?
Yep, please vote. He's going to take care of the motions and the seconds. Just say them verbally.
Councilmember Pai? Motion passes unanimously.
At this time, we'll hold the election and canvass the election.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The property owner has voted in favor.
Since he's voted in favor, we can now adopt a resolution declaring the election results. Would anyone like to do that?
I will move that we accept the election results.
Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. Please vote when it comes up on your screen.
Motion passes unanimously.
Now move to item 4. This is a continuous from October 7th also, creating a special tax area 56 for property, Amazon.com Services LLC, for APN 666-370-039, located west of Little Morongo Road, north of 20th Street to the Desert Hot Springs Special Public Safety Tax Area. Mr. Buckheim?
Yes, so this public hearing is to annex a property into the public safety tax area in order to assess a parcel tax on the property to fund public safety services.
I'll entertain questions of staff. Anyone have any questions? We'll open the public hearing and take public testimony at this time. Would anybody like to speak to the city council on this item? I see nobody coming forth. We're going to close the public hearing and we'll get back to questions for staff. No questions. We will now hold the election and canvass the election.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The property owners voted in favor.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance establishing special public safety tax area?
So moved.
Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. Please vote as it comes up on your screen.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 5 is the adoption of the 2025 building codes, including updates to the International Property Maintenance Code. Mr. Clark.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. The California Standards Building Code is updated on a triennial basis, with 2022 being the last update. The 2025 edition was published on July 1, 2025, with an effective date of January 1, 2026. The BSC applies throughout the California, and each part of the BSC constitutes a separate California code. The city may adopt the BSC along with amendments, providing the amendments are based on findings that the amendments are necessary due to local climatic, topographic, or geologic conditions. The 2025 update will update a series of chapters entitled 15, Building and Construction of Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code. These chapters reference administration, building, residential, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and energy codes, along with others, and include the International Property Maintenance Code used by code compliance. Many of these changes are minor and simply update the reference date to the California Building Code. The major news is that there are no major changes to the residential code. In fact, some regulations and requirements have been relaxed with the passage of AB 130. For example, building permits are good for 1 year now instead of 6 months. Builders can now use the same approved model home plan for up to 10 years. And the state will skip the 2028 update cycle to the residential code. Once these changes go into effect, once approved, these changes go into effect January 1, 2026. These changes do not update the fire code, as staff is still in discussions with County Fire on the proposed changes. Staff is recommending the approval of the ordinance updating the building codes, and staff from the Building Division and Code Compliance are here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions from council to Mr. Clark? I see none. We'll open the public hearing at this time and take testimony in favor, opposed, or a neutral position. Would anybody like to speak to the city council on this item? I see nobody coming forth. We're going to close the public hearing at this time. And is there any other questions that were prompted? No?
I just wanted to compliment staff. This was hard. Very hard. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we adopt the 2025 building codes with the updates. And again, I'll echo what Councilmember Ponce said. It was a lot of work for us to read, a lot more work for you to do, and I bet you're glad you don't have to do it for another few years, because if we're going to skip a thing, then we're going to be good.
There's a motion by Mr. Gardner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pye. When it comes up on the screen, please vote.
Motion passes unanimously. This is the first reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Desert Hot Springs, amending Title 15, Buildings and Construction of the Desert Hot Springs Municipal Code to adopt the 2025 edition of the California Building Code, California Residential Code, California Electrical Code, California Mechanical Code, California Plumbing Code, California Energy Code, California Historical Building Code, California Existing Building Code, California Green Building Standards Code, California Reference Standards Code, International Property Maintenance Code. The ordinance will return at the next meeting for second reading and adoption.
Thank you. Item number 6 is an extension of the urgency interim ordinance adopting a moratorium on the issuance of any license, permit, or entitlement that is a use other than the ones listed in this ordinance for any business located in the Commercial Business Park C-BP zoning district along Highway 62 between North Indian Canyon Drive and Interstate 10. Mr. Clark.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. This is an extension of an urgency ordinance adopting a moratorium initially passed by City Council on October 21st. That ordinance was effective for 45 days. This ordinance extends the moratorium for a total time period of up to 2 years. It would allow staff time to review the existing commercial business park zoning and its allowable uses along Highway 62 between North Indian Canyon and I-10. The rationale being to align the zoning with Council's strategic plan, specifically Goal 1, freeway corridor to promote Highway 62 as a tourism gateway into the city. The objective for this goal is an intense and focused effort to identify strategically important sites, properties, property owners, and capital partners to attract and retain commercial development along Highway 62. It would also allow time to analyze new state laws such as AB 98, impacting logistics and warehousing businesses near residential uses. This ordinance includes the report per Government Code 65858D, outlining the rationale for an extension for an additional 22 months and 15 days. Staff is recommending approval of the extension of the urgency ordinance adopting a moratorium, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for the report. Any questions for staff? All right, we will open the public hearing at this time and take any public testimony in favor, opposed, or a neutral position. Would anybody like to speak on this item? I see nobody coming forth. We're going to close the public hearing at this time, and if there's no more discussions, someone would...
I'll make a motion then that we extend the urgency interim ordinance on the zoning change in the Highway 62 entrance.
There's a motion and a second. Please vote when it comes up on your screen.
Motion passes unanimously. This is an ordinance, an extension of urgency ordinance of the City Council of the City of Desert Hot Springs adopting a moratorium on the issuance of any license, permit, or entitlement that is a use other than the ones listed in the ordinance for any business located in the Commercial Business Park zoning district along Highway 62 between North Indian Canyon and Interstate 10. The ordinance goes into effect immediately.
Thank you. We're going to move to the administrative calendar item. Comprehensive update on efforts to address homelessness. Ms. Wilms.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Back in 2019, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that it was cruel and unusual punishment and unconstitutional for cities to criminalize homelessness. Martin versus Boise further ruled that cities could not enforce their anti-camping ordinances if they did not have enough shelter beds for their unhoused population. Following this ruling and exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, between 2019 and 2023, the city experienced an exponential increase in the total number of unhoused individuals within the city of Desert Hot Springs. Further complicating local efforts, an outside agency relocated an unknown number of unhoused individuals into the Hyundai Hotel, a substandard and non-compliant facility without coordination or consultation with the city. After the Hyundai Hotel was subsequently red tagged and its permits revoked, the occupants were required to vacate, resulting in new encampments and squatting activity at another nearby red tagged complex. These encampments contributed to multiple fires, one of which resulted in a fatality and ultimately led to the demolition of the entire hotel complex. At the same time, the city's ability to enforce laws related to illegal camping and similar offenses was severely limited due to state-level legislation restricting police enforcement. In the fall of 2021, the city hired SCH Consulting to conduct an independent assessment, including citywide outreach, needs assessments, field reconnaissance, and community engagement meetings. Community feedback revealed a strong desire to open an access center to comply with Martin versus Boise. The city met with various jurisdictions and nonprofit partners and toured access centers and shelters throughout Riverside County. In May of 2023, the city purchased the hub, located at 66753 Hacienda Avenue. It was centrally located and already entitled for this land use. The site was ideal for the city's first homelessness response facility. In October of 2023, the City of Desert Hot Springs opened the hub as a city-owned emergency overnight shelter operated under contract with Martha's Village and Kitchen. Initially a 26-bed shelter, the facility represented the city's implementation of the Housing First model, designed to provide immediate shelter without preconditions. In November of 2023, the city published a request for proposals for long-term operations of the hub. On October 14th of 2023, the County of Riverside Housing and Workforce Solutions conditionally awarded the city $416,219 through the Homeless Housing Assistance and Prevention Program for the continuation of shelter operations at the hub with Martha's Village and Kitchen designated as the operator. On January 16th, 2024, the City Council adopted the Riverside County Housing and Workforce Solutions Homelessness Action Plan, which allowed the city to proceed with accepting the HAP funding. During the first year of operations at the hub under the Housing First model, 721 unduplicated individuals accessed the day center, while 198 unduplicated individuals accessed the overnight shelter. Despite these efforts, the city did not see a measurable decrease in homelessness, with only 18 individuals housed during the first year of operations, an 8.58% success rate. On September 30th of 2024, the city exhausted the HAP funding under its previous agreement, and on October 1st, entered into a professional services agreement with the Social Work Action Group. This transition marked a strategic shift away from the Housing First model toward a treatment and accountability-based model focused on rehabilitation, recovery, and personal responsibility. SWAG's approach emphasizes relationship building, trust, and direct connections to detox and mental health facilities and assistance for chronically unhoused individuals, with the goal being reunification with the familial unit. This immediate intervention and placement model has eliminated the need for the hub to operate as an overnight facility. Under SWAG's approach, overnight stays were anticipated only in instances where an individual successfully completed detox but was unable to secure housing or reunification with family. To date, no overnight stays have been required under this model. The hub now functions as a structured point of facilitation for meaningful direct services rather than a shelter, with participants actively engaging in programs designed to address the root causes of homelessness. The initial agreement with SWAG anticipated 24/7 operations at the hub and included funding for 5 full-time employees assigned to the facility, as well as 4 full-time street outreach managers, for a total contract of $1,072,668. In May of 2025, the city determined that SWAG's operational model, directly connecting unhoused individuals to detoxification and mental health services, no longer necessitated continuous on-site staffing, as no overnight stays have occurred at the hub since the start of the contract. Accordingly, city staff renegotiated the agreement with SWAG to remove the 5 full-time employee facility positions while retaining the 4 full-time street outreach managers, resulting in a contract reduction in savings of more than $400,000. In 2024, the city also established a critical response team comprised of 2 dedicated code enforcement officers, 2 dedicated police officers, and 4 street outreach workers through SWAG. This multidisciplinary team works daily to restore public health and safety, connect the unhoused with appropriate services, and enforce municipal and state laws without exception to housing status. Since the city's partnership with SWAG began and the CRT team has been established, SWAG has provided intense street outreach to 86 unduplicated individuals. Of those, 66 individuals successfully exited the street into treatment, housing, or stabilization programs, a 76.74% success rate. 25 individuals did return to the street. However, it is a significant improvement over the previous retention outcomes, and SWAG continues to meet them where they're at and try again. 45 individuals over the last year have remained successfully exited from street homelessness, a 53.32% success rate. This far exceeds the 18 individuals housed during the first year under the Housing First model. The CRT team also made 191 arrests related to criminal activity. 67 were felonies and 124 misdemeanors, restoring safety in key public areas. The below homeless point in time count numbers demonstrate that despite statewide increases, the city is stabilizing and reducing street level homelessness while significantly improving access to treatment and accountability. And I'd like to kind of go through this a little bit. You can see here 2017 through 2020, the city had some pretty stable numbers. We then, as I discussed earlier in the presentation, were met with several factors: COVID, folks coming in and being placed in the Hyundai. And you can see following 2023, that explosion in our numbers that I talked about, and I did make some notes on this slide here. In 2023 is when we deployed the Housing First model. 2024, the point in time count focused on housing outcomes. And then the last count in 2025, we had 120 individuals. However, 34 were sheltered at that point, so that's that improvement that we were talking about. We are anticipating the next point in time count to occur in January. A key component of the city's homelessness strategy involves the proactive abatement of both major and minor encampments to restore public spaces, protect environmental quality, and safeguard community health. City staff from Code Enforcement, Public Works, and the Critical Response Team conduct regular cleanups throughout the main corridors, public right-of-ways, storm channels, and vacant properties. These coordinated operations include debris removal, hazardous material mitigation, and site restoration. Strong partnerships with vacant property owners have facilitated significant encampment cleanups in key areas of the city, including the large desert corridor between Hacienda and Two Bunch Palms Trail. The city also continues to collaborate closely with the Coachella Valley Coachella Valley Conservation Commission as they work to address and abate encampments located on their properties. The city has also established strong partnerships with local businesses and property owners, implementing Penal Code 602 letters to allow for the enforcement of trespassing laws. The property managers of the Vaughn Shopping Center, Royal Emerald Plaza, and Stater Brothers Center have worked closely with city staff to abate loitering. It's intentional. Prevent re-encampment, and design out spaces that attract loitering, illegal camping, and/or dumping. These combined efforts have significantly improved the appearance, safety, and business activity within commercial corridors. Over the last year, the City of Desert Hot Springs has made measurable progress in reducing street homelessness, improving public safety, and enhancing collaboration with service providers and local stakeholders. However, there is still significant work to be done. Staff has observed that even brief interruptions in SWAG's outreach efforts or enforcement by CRT of illicit activity can quickly erode progress that has been achieved. Because housing in Desert Hot Springs is generally more affordable than in other areas of the Coachella Valley, nonprofit organizations often form partnerships with residential property owners to facilitate the rapid rehousing of unhoused individuals in the city. Most of the nonprofits operate under the Housing First model, which prioritizes providing immediate access to permanent housing without preconditions such as sobriety, employment, or participation in treatment programs. While this model has benefits, placing some of the most vulnerable individuals into the community without strong wraparound services has, in certain cases, resulted in unsafe circumstances in residential neighborhoods. Issues such as drug activity, squatting, encampments, and other public safety concerns have been observed. These situations are often identified following a code enforcement violation. However, city staff have made proactive efforts to engage with nonprofits to address concerns regarding how some programs are deployed locally. These efforts have been challenging, as the nonprofits' operational models sometimes conflict with the city's approach. In some instances, individuals who are not originally from Desert Hot Springs have ended up back on the streets of Desert Hot Springs following eviction from these programs, further exacerbating homelessness within the community. The transition to SWAG's immediate intervention and placement model supported by the critical response team has proven very effective and far more effective than the previous shelter-based housing first model, resulting in substantial decreases in unsheltered homelessness, increased accountability for those committing crimes, and stronger partnerships with businesses, property owners, and the community. The current approach remains consistent with strategic plan area focus number 5, public safety, quality of life, and executes fully on the following action item. Continue with dedicated team comprised of law enforcement, code enforcement, and SWAG to provide resources and services to the unhoused population while continuing to enforce a zero-tolerance policy for any criminal activity. And B, continue to work with property owners to institute and enforce 602 no trespassing letters and abate encampments in collaboration with private property owners in the public right-of-way per ordinance. Staff seeks direction from the City Council. Yes. Staff seeks direction from the City Council as it relates to action item C of Strategic Plan Area Focus 5. Explore ERF funding with CVAG, Riverside County, and CVCC so long as the efforts and other agencies align with and are not in contradiction to the city's efforts to provide services and address homelessness. In 2017, the Coachella Valley Association of Governments launched the CV Housing First program, which operates under the Housing First model, providing immediate shelter without preconditions, followed by wraparound supportive services once individuals are housed. Since the program's inception, participating cities have contributed $100,000 annually to CVAG to support its implementation. In 2025, the participation cost increased to $120,000. The City of Desert Hot Springs has participated in this program continuously until 2024, when the city redirected its annual contribution to subsidize the cost of facilitating localized homelessness services through the hub. The city is being asked to reconsider entering the program. In December of 2020, CVAG refined its program focus to create CV200, an initiative targeting 200 chronically homeless individuals with complex needs who frequently interact with law enforcement across the Coachella Valley. Each participating city collaborates with CVAG staff to create a list of 20 chronically homeless individuals to receive intensive case management and supportive services utilizing the Housing First model each year. Program outcomes for the City of Desert Hot Springs for previous years are as followed and shown on the attached slide. So you can see for 2022, there were 5 clients that were housed, 2 still remain housed, 2 no longer are housed, and the status of 1 client is unknown. In 2023, they had 8 clients housed, 5 remain housed, and 3 client statuses are unknown. And in 2024, 4 clients were housed, 3 remain housed, and 1 client is no longer housed. Additionally, the state of California has made this is going to go off again for a minute. Additionally, the state of California has made available encampment resolution funding to assist local jurisdictions in resolving encampments by providing services and support to people living in them with the goal of moving people into safe and stable housing and restoring public spaces. To participate, the program requires the use of the Housing First model or equivalent low-barrier housing pathway. The County of Riverside, CVAG, and CVCC have approached the city about partnering on an ERF grant for the housing of unhoused individuals on CVCC-owned land in the city. If the city chooses to participate, housing of those individuals would take place in coordination with the City of Desert Hot Springs under the Housing First model. Strategic Plan Area Focus 5 Action Item C explicitly states that staff is to explore these avenues so long as they align with and are not in contradiction with the city's efforts to provide services to address homelessness. Deploying both SWAG's model and the Housing First model simultaneously in the city would create inherent contradictions in policy and practice. The Housing First approach prioritizes providing immediate housing with minimal conditions, often without requiring participation in treatment, sobriety, or accountability measures. In contrast, SWAG's model, in conjunction with the CRT, emphasizes structured intervention, personal accountability, and direct engagement with detoxification, mental health, and rehabilitation services with the goal of reunification with family or placement into supportive programs. Supporting both models at the same time would present conflicting expectations for participants. One model removes barriers to housing, regardless of behavior, while the other conditions access and success on active engagement and compliance. Such a dual deployment could undermine program effectiveness, creating confusion among service providers and participants, and reduce measurable outcomes, ultimately working at cross purposes rather than achieving a unified strategy for addressing homelessness in the city. Staff is seeking direction from the City Council regarding the preferred model of service for unhoused individuals in the City of Desert Hot Springs. Before you tonight are two options for discussion. We are seeking council direction whether to continue with current SWAG CRT model, which would mean maintaining the existing approach to homelessness services and policy. Under this option, the city would not participate in the CVAG CV200 program or the partnership with the county CVAG and the CVCC on the ERF grant, or adopt the Housing First model, which would mean the implementation of a Housing First approach, and then participate fully in the CVAG CV200 program, as well as the partnership with Riverside County, CVAG, and CVCC on the ERF grant. Continuing with the SWAG CRT model would not increase the city's costs, which are already anticipated in the fiscal year 25-26 budget. Should the city adopt the Housing First model and choose to participate in CV200, the cost would be $120,000, as well as any costs associated with the ERF grant and any cost changes in regards to operations at the hub. The next thing I want to walk through, and I want to do this with a little bit of a disclaimer, is some of the success stories that have occurred over the last year with SWAG's model in conjunction with CRT and our staff here. I first want to share that all of this is being done with permission from the clients who have given the okay for their stories to be shared, but these are the real lives that are being impacted. So Lewis initially encountered SWAG, and SWAG actually initially encountered Lewis near the corner of Palm Drive and Ironwood. Lewis was homeless for 9 years and unfortunately remained in denial about some of the struggles that he was facing with substance abuse and mental health. His overall health was visibly declining. He was often seen lying on the sidewalk, unfortunately covered in his own feces. SWAG took swift action to intervene. Every day presented a different version of Lewis mentally, and he frequently refused assistance. Over several months of consistent engagement, SWAG remained committed and connected him multiple times to a crisis stabilization unit to address his mental health. Although he did often leave early and did not fully commit, nor was he fully forthcoming during assessments. He was briefly connected to a faith-based men's recovery home, left the program early on. However, through intense street outreach, Lewis did finally agree to re-engage with a faith-based men's recovery home to grow in faith, and he began working towards a life of sobriety and stability. There's Lewis before and there is Lewis today. John has a very similar story. John was encountered in a parking lot in Palm Drive, had been homeless 5 years, also was in denial, but finally agreed to accept services. He was quickly connected to a 90-day substance abuse treatment facility, and today John continues to work on his journey towards sobriety and will be transitioning very soon to a sober living home once he is done with his current treatment program. Juan was first encountered near the Vaughns on Palm Drive. He was homeless for the last 3 years. Also took several times for Juan to go into treatment, but SWAG and our CRT team continued their efforts. He left several recovery programs, but most recently was successfully transitioned to a residential treatment facility where he continues to work on his recovery and is also looking to transition to a sober living home as soon as he also completes his treatment. There was Juan at the beginning, and there he is today. Baldomero has a very similar story. And SWAG worked nonstop with our CRT team to connect him. They were able to encourage Baldomero to reconnect to a faith-based men's program after several times of coming in and out of the program, and he is also now working through his path to recovery. Sean was initially encountered on Choya and Pearson. He was homeless for 30 years. And has gone through many setbacks, but this team finally was able to successfully connect Sean to a faith-based men's recovery home where he is receiving support that he needs. You can see Sean where he started and where he is at, and he continues to receive assistance. Michael was actually referred after from his mother. The CRT team and SWAG worked diligently with Michael. And he most recently was placed at a crisis residential treatment and is continuing his journey with mental health treatment. Joseph was met at the Royal Emerald Plaza, has been homeless for 10 years. SWAG worked diligently with Joseph, even though he denied services on multiple occasions. They continued to show up to get him to a point where he was ready to accept those services. Joseph was connected to a faith-based men's recovery home. You can see where he was versus where he's at today. Michael, again, has a similar story. And he is currently in a 1-year faith-based men's recovery home and on his road to recovery. Frances was encountered near a vacant field at Cabot and 15th Street. She has been unhoused for the last 4.5 years with untreated substance abuse, mental health challenges, and a physical disability and a developmental disability. During initial engagement, SWAG also identified that she was in an unhealthy relationship, which was making it harder for her to leave the streets. After diligent effort, Frances has since been living in a sober living home and has been very active in outpatient treatment services and is continuing her path to recovery. Robert was encountered on Pearson, was unhoused for 3 years, and is currently admitted to the hospital. SWAG is actively working with him and will continue to work with him to keep him connected to treatment facilities that can address all of his barriers. These are the lives that are being changed under the current model, and I do want to recognize very quickly a group of folks that we have in the audience. SWAG, can you please raise your hand? We have also Officer Duncan. He is part of our CRT team here. And I also want to acknowledge our Deputy City Manager, Christina Newsom, who has been overseeing this program. So everybody is here to answer any questions. We look forward to receiving City Council's direction on how best to move forward with our unhoused, serving our unhoused population. That concludes my staff report.
Thank you very much. Wow. So, you really, it's hard to see what is happening behind the scenes. We're a small city, And we get a lot of comments a lot of times of people coming through and saying, oh, what are you doing for your homeless in your community? We have what we say all the time is Main and Main. It's Palm and Pearson are our main streets, and because of that, when we do have homeless individuals, they do walk those parts of our streets and they're very visible. But what we don't see is what is going on in and around our community in the open space. And so our current CRT team is out there identifying these individuals. I do want to recognize the Coachella Valley Association of Governments. Erica Velchi's here today. She's representing CVAG and what they're doing with the CVCC that Mr. Gardner sits on in chairs. You're still a chair, right? They haven't kicked you off yet?
Not yet.
Okay. He's trying to beat the La Quinta mayor that was the chair for many, many years. But they're making huge efforts in our conservation areas, or they're trying to at least, and that's not easy. Trying not to make a huge political speech here, but we know that our homeless population exploded in a certain period of time that was uncontrollable because of some of the state laws. And now we're all being very reactive to something that we have to figure out. It comes down to cost, and that's what we're here today to just make that decision. I'm going to open it up for public comments, and then I'll let my fellow council members make some comments, and then we'll go from there. Anyone that wants to speak can come on up to the dais. You'll have your 3 minutes. Just state your name.
Mayor, thank you very much. My name is Erica Felchi. I'm with the Coachella Valley Association of Governments and also the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission. I want to first of all thank staff very much. We've talked quite a bit with Doria and others over the last couple of years, and it is nice to be at a council where I don't have to explain our program because we have a member of the Public Safety Committee, we have the chair of the CVCC, we have a member of our Executive Committee, and a member of our Homelessness Committee right here. So I do want to point out, though, a couple of just things. While we appreciate the collaboration with the city, we do disagree that this is an or situation. We don't see it that way. We see this as an and situation. CVAG runs a CV Housing First program. We focus on the chronically homeless. These are generally shelter-resistant individuals who aren't going to go into a shelter model. And in all of our communities, we serve alongside programs that are very similar to SWAG. And I actually got to work with, spend some time with SWAG. I joined your point in time count and walked Palm and Pearson and got to spend some time here. In fact, I might be in one of those photos, actually. I think it looked very familiar. CV Housing First, as you know, is a niche program. We are collaborating across the valley. We also are looking at opportunities to bring in funding. For my other hat, the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission owns quite a bit of land out here, as you all know. That is a draw for encampments. Over the last couple of weeks, we've actually been doing a massive undertaking in the city. The report I got on Friday was that we've gone over a span of 1,200 acres. We've gone through 9 encampments. We've moved along, or addressed and helped 15 people, 20 cars, and 200,000 pounds of debris. So that's just the work that has been currently underway. A couple of other things I do want to note in my last minute here. Our request is for $125,000. It does, that was the action by the Homelessness and Executive Committee. We are seeking long-term MOUs with our cities. As you can imagine, it creates a lot of staff time on our end to come to each city every year, create some budget certainty for our program. And our numbers actually vary on the CV200 by city. Not all cities get the exact same number. We do set that by city. You can imagine the needs in Indian Wells are slightly different than the needs in Palm Springs. So we do move that. And when the city participated, you had 25 slots on the CV200. And finally, just want to point out, there's a comment in Doria's report that says the CV Housing First model removes barriers to they remove barriers to housing regardless of behavior. We're very strict on our units. We're very strict in our program. And I can't speak for other Housing First programs, but I can speak for ours. We manage our clients closely. We address any issues. And if they're not following the rules of the program, they're not ready for our program. And then we'll work with them. We'll put them back on the streets, and we'll work with them on the streets. And if a client exits our program, the permanent housing solution doesn't work out, we go back
And we work with them again, and we try to find housing for them again. And we've certainly worked collaboratively with cities, and we look forward to working with you. I think I kept it under 3 minutes.
Appreciate you, thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Yes, ma'am. Just state your name and you got your 3 minutes.
My name is Brandy Chimez, and I'm here as a representative of Belamonte Recovery Center here in Desert Hot Springs. And I want to say thank you, Mayor Mattes, and I want to say thank you, council members, and also the work, swag, oh my gosh, and CRT, I didn't even know this was all happening. This is so exciting. But we know that homelessness isn't just about housing. It's about getting to the root. And the root in a lot of these cases is substance abuse and trauma. And at Belamonte, we are a recovery center here in Desert Hot Springs. And we are focused on helping individuals to regain their life. I would love for a magical world where we're able to get everyone before they hit homelessness. That would be the ultimate. Unfortunately, it's not the world we live in. The world we live in, we have so many barriers to treatment and not enough places to help them to get the help they need. So we here at Belamonte are just putting ourselves out there and saying, yes, we are here. Yes, I am a homeowner here in this town. I love this town, and I am grateful for all that's being done, but I think there's more that can be done. And I believe that Belamonte can help assist the city, the citizens, and the council to make this a better place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Last call. All right, we're going to close public comment this time and I'll open up to my council members. Who wants to go first? Mr. Pitts?
All right, so first of all, thank you to all the speakers that have come forth tonight and spoken and helped to probably better frame it for the public in general. Second, thank you, Madam City Manager, for that presentation. That was amazing. And also looking at the before and after pictures were so compelling and vital to be able to see that, coupled with obviously the stats that were provided. And we all say this, and I think this will resonate with each and every one of us, that our hearts go out to the unhoused. That's what we're trying to do. Every city is having to wrestle with this. But I want to say this, and we just looked at it through stats and also through the presentation. Our city's current application, or the way that we are handling this, in fact, I would say our in-house program through SWAG is a community that can thrive under our approach and resources. I would also say we shouldn't change now what is working. SWAG is working. And that being said, I will say that I will support to continue working with our current SWAG program.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Wow. Impressive stats with that SWAG model. I was just absolutely blown away. And I'm up here with my phone doing some quick calculations. And from a dollar cost average, if we were to take the 2024 numbers, the $100,000 we gave to Housing First, 4 people, that's $25,000 if my math works out right. And last year, with the $400,000 that we gave to SWAG, we had 45. That works out to $8,000 per individual. I think we're getting a much better bang for our buck on that, and I would echo what Mr. Pitts said. It's impressive, and I would actually hope that a lot of the other cities and CVAG would adopt this model. As chair of CVCC, I've been very adamant in the 3 years that I've been chair of taking care of the lands that we have in our jurisdiction. And I know Erica and the rest of the staff there is annoyed about Gary always calling, come on, you got to come clean out the land out here. We've got to take care of this. We can't just buy it and let it sit there. And CVAG and CVCC, to their credit, have been doing an outstanding job. And I have seen the results of that. And as Erica pointed out, the number that we've done over the last couple of weeks, and I was on the phone today with the CVCC staff. We had another report of some homeless folks, and Katie jumped on it right away. So I really do appreciate that, and we did go after some funding and got some grants, not particularly to the ERF grant, but a different grant to just do cleanup on conservation land, and we've been using that, and that's what they've been using to do that. I think, though, and I don't know how to address this piece of it, but the biggest breakdown in the current model that we're using seems to me to be the nonprofits that are participating with CVAG and Housing First. And forgive me for saying this, but I'm just going to be blunt and say it, dumping homeless people in our town and then not taking care of them and following up with that. So I want to see some more of that. I would love to see us be able to work more hand in hand with our nonprofit providers out there to work with SWAG to accomplish the goal that we all want to accomplish. That's where I would go with this. I think that's the one little linchpin that we're missing in that is how can we work with those organizations to bring them into what we're working with, as opposed to just bringing people into town and then not working with us. So I would echo what Mr. Pitts said. I would support continuing the path that we're going down on.
Ms. Williams, you have a comment?
I just want to clarify something very quickly. I don't want to lump what CVAG and CV200 is doing with the
No.
nonprofits. Those are two totally separate situations. CVAG absolutely runs their own housing, and I don't want those two to be lumped together.
No,
so it's
I
a
agree with you on
unique
that, and I
issue
was
with
more pointing out
nonprofits. So I just
those-
wanted to clarify
to those
that.
organizations that are not following what Erica said, because I know CVAG does do that. But there are other organizations out there that do not, and they're the ones that are causing the issues here in the city.
This is our community. Bus stops. People aren't housing at bus stops anymore. People who needed to get to work are standing on the side of the bus stops. SWAG has stopped that. People come to the senior center looking for a place to stay. That's fine, because the director has a number to call, and she calls SWAG, and they come immediately, and they come with the CRT team, and they're treated nicely. And we tell them, just wait a moment, because somebody's coming to help you. And they talk to them. Then they take them with them. There was a guy who, because a senior director had a passionate heart. You don't know when you're supposed to have a passionate heart and when you're not supposed to. And people started staying up there. And I told about a time when a person, I would give him and his girlfriend $20 every time I saw them. Finally, I had to say to him, I'm not going to give you $20 anymore. It was that time I had to stop. SWAG came in. This guy got treatment, got touched enough and got treatment. He got a house with his girlfriend. She now can see her children. He had a job. Then all of a sudden something happened and he went back to drugs. She stayed where she was. I found out through Dora today that he went back to SWAG and they helped him, and he's been in a rehab center since July. This is November. This is our community, and we have to do what is right for our community. The homeless are our citizens also. People can remember when what you said, the hotel was on fire. People remember that. People remember when businesses did not have an abatement ordinance where they could protect themselves. I remember when a guy was going to hotels and robbing them so that he could take care of his habit. That doesn't happen anymore. Not like that. My situation with Housing First, I don't see our community being helped. I don't know what you can do, especially with resources. But I see a remarkable change, especially with the stats, happening with our CRT unit, housing, and with SWAG. It's happening. People are getting treated. One more thing. There was a guy that used to come and sit just like this. He wasn't homeless, but he'd sit just like this and had all these people around him that were homeless. And he just sat like this and, oh, he was in heaven. But he wasn't homeless. SWAG goes out and talks to people. They didn't have people inside a home where people were there. If you got there on time, then you got to stay, and you got to stay forever. 3 to 4 months. That wasn't helping anybody. And he's not there anymore. That's all I know. It's our community and it's working. Sorry.
I left one point off, and it was raised by our friend from Belamonte there. And I just wanted to double check with both staff and our SWAG folk. I do remember the mayor and I, many years ago, right after I first got elected, we went to Belamonte when they had their grand opening. And we've been to several other of the converted spas that have become treatment centers. And they have all guaranteed to the city 1 to 2 beds a month if we need them for those recovery centers. I just want to make sure we're still, it triggered it when you brought it up that you were here, and you have an absolutely lovely facility and they do amazing stuff there. And I don't remember if you were on the list of those, but we've had several that have converted since then that have offered, and as part of their part of us giving them the ability to become convert from a spa to being a recovery center, they had promised us that. So are we taking advantage of that, or can we do that in the SWAG folks and you?
So I'm aware of one in particular, that Affinity, that has made that arrangement. I will make sure that SWAG is connected to them.
And my final comments before we get to either a motion and vote here is I know that our city managers struggle with this report. There's a lot of information to be able to put out there, and there's a lot of not always or questions, and I'm sure she would wish she had a huge budget to be able to say and to a lot of it. So, you know, what does it come down to? It comes down to what is actually working the best for our city. And as much as I appreciate what CVAG is doing with the CV200, and I've been the biggest proponent trying to get our city to be a partner, because we do partner as a region together. I think it comes down to financial burden, and we just sat in a meeting with our fire chief today trying to figure out how we can get a fire station open quicker than we can because of financial means. So, it's a tough situation that we have to make a decision on today, but as obviously we've seen a great progress in the homeless population, and I want to say thank you to our CRT team, SWAG, and for really getting out there and making a difference in our community. You can see it, and I know we'll continue to have individuals with their opinions about not being able to see it, but the numbers don't lie. All right, so we'll entertain a motion unless there's more comments.
I will move then that we continue the current SWAG CRT model for the city of Desert Hot Springs.
Is there a second to that? Second. There's a motion and a second. If there is no further discussion, please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. We don't have any other items on our agenda tonight. Nothing was pulled from the consent calendar, but I will reopen public comments, and I do have one. Harold Felton.
I came to a city council meeting, I came to a city council meeting in May, and it's now 6 months later. I was talking about micro wind turbines, and I purchased 2 and had gone to city planning in February to see if there was any way to put them up legally. We don't have in Desert Hot Springs any rules about wind turbines similar to solar, but we're in a unique city because we have a lot of wind. So over the past 6 months, I've gone through and built my first kit of the 2 that I purchased, and it's sitting on a on my back porch, and I take it apart because it's got 2 little blades that, we don't want kids. I'm an adult, over 55 unit anyway. What I'd like to do is to see if we can, I'd like to be able to put up a pole, like a tall flagpole, and not just a little pole, but a pretty big pole, because it has to be higher than the roof of our 3-story buildings. At the condo complex that I live at 67285 Hacienda. So yes, I'm also familiar with a lot of the homeless stuff, and it's been interesting to see. I don't have a particular proposal. I just thought I'd come in, check in. 6 months later, I've gotten a little farther. I could do a demo for the city. I could bring the thing here. It's a little heavy, but not that big a deal, and show how it all works. And it's not enough to, like solar, each solar panel takes a certain amount, and you need like 10 or 20 depending on how big your city use is. But I'd like to start the process of thinking about putting planning commission ideas to be able to put up little micro wind turbines. That's basically it. Any questions?
We can't have it back and forth during public comment, but please see our staff, and hopefully there'll be some direction for you.
Thank you.
For therapeutic reasons.
Yes. Any other public comments? Anyone didn't speak at the beginning? All right, we're going to, before we adjourn, I just want to announce that the Planning Commission on November 11th has been canceled. The Public Safety Commission will meet on the 13th, and the next City Council meeting will be on November 18th. We are adjourned.